see you, Raiders. I will be with you in just a moment. Yeah, you got me right at the start. Welcome in, Raiders. I'm still getting something ready here. But if you are new here, I'm Crimson. I do game dev and gaming content. Excuse you, me. Can you stop talking over me? Go away. Do game dev and gaming content. I'm making a horror game. So tonight is game dev. So we'll be doing that in just a moment. What were you up to, Warden? I didn't see what the bot said. Ah, Space Marine. Okay, you were playing Space Marine when I was in your stream yesterday? I think it was. I've been home for a couple days, so the days have kind of blurred together. Alright. Timer still got 5 minutes on it, but I think actually I'm good to go. Pretty much. Oops, muted myself. So we should be able to switch things over here. Alright, I'm using my VTuber today, so let me get my desktop shared. There we go. And we don't need this crazy music anymore. Let's switch. There we go. Cool. Yeah, performance warning. Nobody cares. Yeah, wait, no one cares. Go away. Stop it. The Drakenritter and the blades are yours. Welcome in, Raiders. I'm a Falcon in particular. I see you. So yeah, I'm not always a VTuber, but I am today. I didn't feel like being on camera. So my VTuber's name is Zero. He's a little robot. He can do different things. Had he been visible when you guys came in, you'd have gotten a bit of a reaction from him in the form of that. My face changes. But you caught me as I was getting ready. You caught me with my pants down, as it were. So yeah, I'm making a horror game. It's still in really early stages, but we are working on shooting mechanics right now, and it's Resident Evil inspired. I also recently updated the game's website. Give me a moment. That is not the live version. Let's go to the live version. Yep, so got a live version of it here, and it can kind of tell you a little bit about the game. There's nothing. I'm going to pause the music because actually you can listen to the music from the game on here. Um, so it's got information about it. I haven't started posting devlogs to it, but I will. You can get information about it on here. There's going to be some story stuff. And then, yep, it's loading. There's going to be some story stuff. You can have these character profiles will gradually get more unlocked as we get further along with things. And it'll show more information. To be honest, the reason a lot of it is currently marked as redacted is because we just don't have much in the way of art for it yet. So we've got that. And then also we got to make some pretty significant announcement over the weekend. If you're familiar with the voice acting scene, and especially the VTuber scene, we have a rather prominent member of such that will be working with me, doing the voice casting and voice direction on the game. We are finally able to talk about this. This has been a secret for like 3 or 4 months now, I think. We are finally talking about that. And then, of course, Starby, who's one of my moderators and a fellow content creator, is doing the music. And then my concept artist and illustrator. So, otherwise, it's mostly been a solo project. You can also check out the roadmap, which is pretty much live, like as long as I'm remembering to check things in my project management app. They get synchronized here. This percentage is not exactly reliable though at this early stage because I'm constantly creating new issues to address. So it's kind of all over the place at the moment. But yeah, so this is the current version of the website's had some new sort of stylistic updates, and the current state of the game, as it were, because we do this every Tuesdays and Thursday usually. We can play this in the viewport here. It's gonna take it a second. And bear in mind that the frame rate is all over the place with this thing because it is not optimized. Also, for some reason, it's not taking mouse input. Why can I not turn? What did I break? Why can I not turn? What? Why? Hang on. That's interesting. That is a new problem. Why is this a... I can do this, but I can't look around? This was not a problem yesterday. Why is this a problem now? Yeah, that's really weird. I cannot look left and right for some reason. Why can I not? Alright. That's strange. Let's see. Why would that be a thing that's happening? Let me look at my character blueprint. We should just care about the main character blueprint. So why? That's our movement input, which that part was working fine. Camera input. So none of this changed, so I'm very curious as to why it was suddenly not working. I'm gonna drag this over to the other screen where I'll be able to watch it while I test it. Oh, okay, suddenly we have an unresolved compiler error. Why do you have a compiler error? Why? Okay, this is interesting because this is part of a plugin. What? Okay. This information's here, so I don't know what it's mad about. I guess we will replace these, and then presumably it will get over itself. I haven't changed anything regarding that plugin. Oh, you know what it might be? A bunch of stuff got updated. A bunch of plugins got updated in the engine, and I think this is one of the ones that's installed in the engine. But I bet you this blueprint is not. So this is... Well, it kind of looks like it is. I'll have to see. If this is in my project, that could explain it. Because then it would not have received the update. And the only reason I had to do any of that was because of all the shenanigans that were going on with the editor. So where does it think that is? I just told it to show me. Yeah, it's an engine plugin, but it wouldn't be the first time I've seen an engine plugin be broken. So I don't know why it didn't warn me about that the first time. So let's try playing editor now. Now we can look around. I wonder if that was because of the compiler error. It didn't give us the error when we tried to launch the first time, but sometimes if you have something failing like that, it'll just cause all kinds of weird behavior. Yeah, so we have an inventory system here that's very much like Resident Evil 4. You can drag things around. We're going to reload our ammo here. And we're going to take a step... Oop, that's not what I wanted to press. We're going to take a step over... we're going into an ad break. So we'll go ahead and just walk over here. And we'll wait for the ad break. So generally speaking, let me pause this. Generally speaking, I pause what I'm doing for ads when possible. I don't like to force people to feel like they are missing out on something that's going on just because they don't have a sub. So we do try to pause for ads. But if you don't get an ad, feel free to ask questions and stuff during these time periods. Some questions I'll hold off on answering until after the ad break, but I will take questions when we're paused. If we're doing something that I can't pause, like some online games and stuff like that, that's a little harder, but I do try. Okay, we are back from the ad break. And so we just walked over here to where I've built the shooting range here for testing weapons. This is not like a permanent feature of the game. We're just in a little debug level. And so we can fire bullets. They get used from our inventory. We do have sort of a spread. The more rapidly you fire, there's no real like recoil effect to the game just yet, but the idea is it does sort of adjust your bullet spread as you go. It's still a little bit inaccurate. We haven't quite figured out the reason for it, but the further out I'm aiming, actually, the more accurate the crosshair is, because it converges on the crosshair. That's not really the intended result, but that is kind of what it's doing at the moment. And right now, the way I designed it is they're supposed to have damage text pop up to just show us that we're hitting them and how much damage we're doing, but that part's not working. So if I do enough damage to one, it will vanish. But the moving ones, in fact, actually this one here did vanish. The moving ones don't generally, because they move pretty quickly and they actually get destroyed and recreated on the other side. Like if I come in here, you'll find that they vanish and then they just reappear behind us. So it's technically a new one, so they have like all their health back at that point. You'd have to shoot pretty quickly to take one out. This just is giving me an opportunity to test the gun mechanics and test the aim. Why is my mouse input really weird? Okay, can I just... Alright. Can we stop with the notifications? That's getting annoying. Thank you. So, let's see. So we fixed that compile issue. And now, ideally what I would do is figure out why the damage numbers are not working for my targets. But quite frankly, that's sort of a minor detail. I'm not planning on like having that as a feature in the main game, so it's more of a debugging thing. I'm not going to worry about it. I want to get the inspection stuff working, because right now it does not work. At least last I tested it. If I were to go into the game and approach an item to inspect it, let's say the ammo, and I want to examine it, it spawns something in the camera view that I cannot interact with, and then you kind of get stuck here. at a glance, what that appears to be is the inventory. In fact, we get like fully stuck and I have to Alt-Tab to kill it. Appears to be the inventory at a glance. Let me... This is kind of too dark over here because there's supposed to be a storage box, like right there. So I'm gonna put that there. This is not anything like what the final lighting will be, but that, I just realized I can't see that box. I had accidentally deleted a light before and thought I put it back in the right spot, and I did not. So let me go ahead and tell this to build lighting, because that'll take a minute. Yeah, so I think what it's doing has to do currently with the case for the inventory, because that 3D case opening up is achieved through a similar trick as the capture for the inspect, because you're supposed to be interacting with a 3D object that's on a 2D plane, and so you have to but the object has to exist in the world, so we have to spawn it. And I think by default all of the items are spawning in the same spot, and I think that's causing part of the problem. They're all spawning at the world origin. So let's see. Because it looks very much there's sort of a handle that's appearing in the camera view, and it kind of looks like the handle of the case, or does it? Maybe not. I guess it could be that part that we're seeing. It's not positioned in the same way. I wonder if we could get... components, maybe, I think is where it's going to be. Interaction component, inventory HUD component, I think is what we want. Because we need the inspection. It's our in-game HUD. Unequip, uncombine, unload. Drag items. Maybe it was the interaction component then. inspect item here, looks like. So, yeah. Pivot point, inspect item. This is probably what we're looking for, the initialize inspect item. Spawn actor. Yeah, so I think it's spawning it in the same place. Where is case getting spawned? That's probably in this one. No, this one. Yeah, so it's still in here somewhere. Inventory. Where did I actually tell it where to spawn this guy? Because that would be... Yep, they are spawning in exactly the same spot. I'm gonna adjust these drastically. That'll at least ensure, it probably still won't work, but that'll at least ensure that they're not spawning right on top of each other. Because that is what's happening then. We're seeing the case, which is preventing us from seeing anything else. Now there's still likely another problem because we can't seemingly interact with anything. But at a minimum, that was definitely what we were... Because that doesn't affect this. This still opens like we want it to. And... Okay, so there's still a problem because I do not see our item. But... I'm still stuck. But we don't have the case spawning on top of it, which at least means we'll be able to see what the heck's going on. So there really needs to be a more elegant solution than this in the long run, because that's really just assuming that we won't end up with a level that is large enough to have those coordinates. Theoretically, that probably is true, but we can't assume that. Let's see. So what we can do, what we should probably do, is take a look at the object we're spawning, because that is most likely where the problem is. So that means in here, our spawnable object here. Because this guy is most likely our problem. You turn that off. Okay. Let's see. We need our item inspector. Get this over here where I can look at it. And okay. So let's get this kind of all condensed where we can look at it. I really don't feel like he's the problem, because that's just getting rid of it when play ends. So let's check out our initialization. And let's kind of step through what we're looking at here. So the object class, we're verifying. So what I'd like to do is I want to put a breakpoint here, because I want to know at what point this stuff gets triggered. Are we having a failure? So we're gonna run the level, and what should happen is the moment that script fires, which should be from the moment we try to inspect something, we should get, it should pull us in to look at the blueprint and show us that it triggered. Yep, so we're here, all right? It has started running this script. Okay, it clears the valid class, which is good. We should expect that it would. Okay, what is it? It's not a class of inventory item actor. But that in itself should be fine. I don't know that we need this because... So what this was supposed to do is it was supposed to allow me to link like a physical actor with an inventory item object. And then it would take data from the inventory item actor instead of the object. This was in case I had a more detailed mesh. So in theory, this should not actually be where our problem is because we're still getting our mesh from here, or at least we should be. Let's continue on. And now that we've continued on, we should be able to check these. It does say there's a mesh here though. We do have a mesh. So it did get something. Okay, so it's going to set relative location and rotation. This should be fine. It's setting this based on the scene. And then it does an asynchronous load on our mesh reference, which it is going to hit, and we can see it's still here. So this allows it to load in tandem while this is going on. However, it should... I want to toggle this because I want to know when we get to this point. Okay, it's setting our item widget. Okay. That stuff's valid, it looks like. I am noting that it doesn't seem like we got what we needed. So I'm going to start this over again. Now that we've had it, we may have already passed those two toggles by the time that I triggered them. So let's examine. Okay, so we actually hit a weird breaking point. It would seem like we never actually get around to, like, once we've spawned the actor, it would seem like we're never getting around to this again, which is interesting. And that's probably because the game got paused before we hit that point. So I think that's probably what I've been missing, is this tick when paused. So let's see. If that ends up being like the main solution, because this hasn't worked for a while, and I just haven't been bothered to target this specific issue, I'll be pretty annoyed, but glad that I fixed it. Alright, so we're good there. Good there. Let's just tell it to continue. It did make it to here. Continue. Okay, yeah, we can inspect. It is weirdly not illuminated. Also, don't appear to have a way to exit from this screen, which is its own problem, it would seem. I can hit enter, but it doesn't do anything. Yeah, we are trapped. We're trapped in this hell together, apparently. Alright, Alt-Tab. Cool. That's good, though, because that gets us part of the way there. It would seem that our light is not working. And I'm going to guess it's because, for whatever reason, it is not on the spring arm. When it really should be. Oop, I forgot to untoggle these. It is still not illuminated. So, not sure about that one. I can move it around. All right. Okay, we can still, it still ticks when paused. Interesting. Is there something else about the capture that is a problem? I guess let's check the item inspection render target. It could be the area where we have some kind of problem. Let's see. Not at a glance. Yeah, we should be spawning a cube, to be honest. I mean, the only thing I can wonder is perhaps the light's facing the wrong way? You know what? That might would do it. Because I did move it. It is still not illuminated. Weirdly enough. I guess it could be the mesh on this particular texture, but I kind of doubt it. The texture on this particular mesh, words. Words are hard. Let's try the other object that we have over here, the ammo. Oh, it's teeny tiny. Why is it so tiny? Alright, well that's a problem in and of itself. Why are you tiny? It seems to have a maximum size that will let me zoom in, but it also appears to be darkened, which is a whole different thing. Can you click the... Get me out of this hell. Where's my mouse cursor? There it is. There we go. All right. Interesting. Well, now it's reading it there. Hmm. Okay. It's showing up here. And it seems to be illuminated there. So... what is the issue then? Should I add another light source? Maybe just put a point light kind of in the general vicinity. Let's just see if that makes any kind of difference at all. No, it is still dark. Interesting. Okay, we're going into an ad break. Actually, while we are on an ad break, I need to do something real quick, so I'm going to step away for a moment. Okay, I am back. Oop, that's the wrong button. There we go. I had hit the wrong button. Okay, so it's something with this actor that's the problem. Probably. Or maybe how it spawns? Is the light not active when it spawns? Use temperature, visible in game. Intensity. Start with tick enabled. I don't see any particular issues. I guess, okay, let's skip that part for now. Just do this guy. Okay. This is all about moving the object around. And we're not doing anything with the construction script. I'm very curious. That's interesting. The only thing I could think of would be maybe it's something in our item inspector. check on that. Actually, it's gonna be their UMG inspect. Inspect item. Okay, so I guess let's check a couple things. This probably needs to be set to visible, I would assume. And then got our inspect item. I don't see anything there out of place. Let's check this one. I guess, yeah, because we have it extended from the interactable user widget, but I found there were some problems with that before, so I can reparent, there it is, and just reparent it to the user widget for now. The rest of this looks fine. That should be fine. We don't need it to trigger the parent. Here's the mouse to the center. Yeah, that's probably fine. Rotate. Okay. These are action mappings. I don't know if those will work. Because those are using the old system. Just woke up, feeling sorry. Other games today. I start university course again. You're trying to become a history teacher. Oh, good luck. Good luck with that. History is becoming kind of a mess as it gets closer and closer to current day. Things are going mostly well. I'm working on tracking down a minor problem. Go ahead and save everything here. So part of the reason I'm probably getting stuck in that is probably the input, because I changed to the newer input action system. So I'll look at that. But let's see. So we can now shoot. I've made a shooting range here to test the weapons on. Kind of confirm like how accurate they are. Needless to say, they do still have some accuracy issues, but it is actually possible to destroy targets as well. And then right now what I'm dealing with is the inspection system. Hello? Is it just not there? Interesting. We just had this working. Sort of. Let's check it from the gun again. Oop. Okay, well, I know what we changed that's probably causing the problem in that case. That was where we did this. Oh. I had that connected to the wrong spot. It was skipping setting the mesh. Oops. There we go. The light's not working for it, and the input's still a little wonky on it. But it does technically work. We can inspect an item. We also kind of get stuck in this little purgatory, so we have to Alt-Tab to get out of it. But that's what I'm looking at right now, because I forgot that I had to, like, hard code some of this stuff. And it's not a fan. We want to, because things can be remapped, we can't hard set any of these. Which is why I set up the system that I did. It did it based on the action name. Now the question is, is this matching? Let's see. Okay, you can't break that. It's clearly still doing something, because it's getting the keys. I wonder if that actually works with because are those still in there? Let's see, input. They are still in here. I wonder if maybe I could do something with a mapping context. Did I already set this? I did not. I'll do that. Add input mapping context. Swap input mapping context. I guess... Oh, these are ones from other... Mine's under defaults anyway, so... Camera action? So let's say... I'm not looking for those actions specifically. I'm looking for movement actions. So I need my... forward backward action, for instance. What is in here? No, that just gets the input of it. I need to find, based on an input, I need to find what key it was bound to, and if that key get enhanced input user settings. Maybe it's from this guy is what we want. Okay, this gives us I don't know what that is. Oh, mouse and keyboard keys, gamepad keys. I'm dumb. All right, cool. I really hate that it would have to call this every time. That sounds not very performant. So let's call this current key. And then what we need to do here is now, see, the interesting thing here is, though, it's Interaction profile. Component. Yeah, so the interesting thing here is that we're getting okay, when this is a match, we'll at least know that it's bound. That's tough. Let's do this then. And then wait a minute. Why is it doing this? Okay, this is going to be, I think, easier and more complicated simultaneously. Okay, I know what I can do. Let me kill this. We need do a run a sequence. For right now, we're not going to care about specific keys, but we want to get the inputs for let's say forward and backward. And left and right. Or right, left, as it were. I could probably break this off into a function library, but for now, let's see. IMC default. What were our other ones we were looking for? So use command partner and then we'll look for melee, I guess, was the other one that I was using. But that's technically under block, I think, is what it's actually named internally. So, probably then use and the command and use is what I actually then need. To match what I had originally. You're about to have another ad break. There we go. We're going to ads. I will be right back. Okay. I am back. Let me check something real quick. Okay, so pulling these, and we can set. We'll have to set several local variables. This is going to be. And then we're basically going to repeat that for each of these. So, shoot. So this will be. And then because then once we have these all set up, we can loop through and figure out what was where the match happened. This will be command input. Okay, once we've got all of those set, then we will say, was the current key gotta bring all these down again. branch. Is gamepad key. And so that'll narrow down which ones we have to loop through. So then we can say if it was true, I think I know a way to do this. Let's see. Or I guess it would be a set. Make array, I guess. Let's say add unique. I'm trying to think of the easiest way to do this. I guess in this case we can do that and then we just say, just start looping through them, I guess. It'd be nice if you could loop through multiple arrays, then have it tell you which array it was in. We'll say okay, I'm going to continue. Do a break. Probably won't keep this part in here because it doesn't need to happen every time this fires. Maybe set that to an event and make these not local. Um, but for now. This is letting me put my thoughts on paper, as it were. Okay, and then that. If it was a match, and then if it was not. If it was a match, we break. Otherwise, we are completed. Yeah, so I feel like these guys could be done on play for this guy, because they're not going to change once this element is created, and then it gets destroyed and then recreated the next time it's needed. So if they remapped their controls, yeah, so there's not like an easy way. I guess that's the easy way. Just have to rename them. Place that. These don't need to be instance editable. Also, that was a mouse and keyboard for that one. So that's a no. Copy. Paste. Rename. Okay, so I can probably then remove that and that. I'll take them out of here once I get this all set the way I want it. Okay, and then replace. We can remove these guys. Copy this one now. place these. Oops. I did that wrong. Okay. Now, what we can do is we take this guy, cut him out of here. We can set these as part of begin play, which I don't actually see in here. Not event craft. Ah, darn it. Let's just say over here. Alright. Begin play. Oh, we just have the construct event. Alright, well that's fine, because it is a widget. Take it at that point. That also means what it should probably do. Although I don't anticipate this to be an issue, is it should probably set all of them empty first. Because it has just created them, they should be empty, but we want to make sure that they're empty. Oh, all right. Can we do empty? No. Okay, let's just... Does that resolve? Yeah, alright. That's fine. We're overriding it anyway, so... I was trying to avoid any weirdness making its way in. Okay, so... it's not a gamepad key, we'll run over to this guy. And in this case, we need to swap this. Boards, mouse and keyboard components. Oh. And then that should have that set no matter what. Okay, so then what we'll do is we need so A and E are our left and right. I may as well, for consistency's sake, bring these up here. Was forward backward key. Get branch. Okay, so then if it was that, I'm gonna pull his gamepad. Oh, we're in a ad break. Just do this real quick. Okay, ad break should be over. Alright, so if it's a gamepad key, then we check our gamepad maps. And now, the trick is that we need to know that's the mapping name. What if I say mapping context? No. I guess we could do it this way. We know it's one of these. So in which case, we don't actually care. It should be... Let me pull this over here where I can look at it. Yeah, I know that you're mad about that. Let's see. So, can I Alt-Tab out of this? Alt-Tab. Oh dear, it's trying to steal my mouse cursor. That's not good. Stop it. Let me out. This is hell. This is hell. Let me out. There. I got it. There we go. Yeah, it was very mad. Yes, I'm aware there were a ton of errors. Okay, so that did not remotely work. Probably because of how I was trying to do it. Happy early Valentine's Day? Yeah, I don't know that my wife and I have plans. We've had a lot going on the past couple months, so I don't know that we've really decided we're going to do anything. Hello, Dupree. I saw you come in. I was just going through a little bit of a problem with my mouse being captured. Alright, let me instead... Well, it'll never make it to that point. I guess it would be the X value is greater than 0. Let me move this back over here. Branch. True. If it was greater than 0, then we can say set W key. And then if it was false, confirm if it's less than 0. Oops. Less than 0. Branch. Oh, but hang on. We should set that first. Then do that and set the S key. we gotta do the same thing with our left and right. So we'll get this. Branch. Get IA default right left movement. Okay. So we can swap this for the, let's say, D key. And then we'll set was command key and was use key. Because these are pretty straightforward. We can just directly set these. There's really not a huge reason to, other than it makes it easier to clear with the existing system that we're already referencing. Command key is going to be our Q key. And then let's see. case being this is on key up, so... I'm actually doing this in a way that's not entirely necessary. That's because I started doing this on the up key rather than on the down key. So okay. That should well, let's see, does that even work? Does that do what it's supposed to do? Or does it still freak out about that? Okay, it's getting mad. So that's not the way to access those then. Something probably about how I'm trying to access the inputs is a problem. Oh my god, could you let the mouse escape for like 5 seconds, please? Oh god. Let the mouse go, you bastard game. And of course, you can't hit escape to get out when it's captured like this. Because why could you? This is terrible. And I hate it. Yeah. Oh my god. It's horrendous. Oh, because it's trying to do that for his gamepad key. Wait, that's lit up there. Not that it's lit up in game for whatever reason. Interesting. Okay. Did it close? What? Why is this what's open? This one, I think? Or is it the mouse event? It's this one. Yeah. So it's failing at this guy, which means it must be a different one. Hello, mouse? There's my mouse. It's different than this guy, which is what I was trying to get. Okay, well, that still doesn't fix the problem. I don't think so. I'm going to have to look into that. I may have to set up a system. I would say to read the inputs from the player controller, but when things are paused, I'm not sure if it's taking inputs. But that will be something to work on later. Let's see. Let's see. I think it's pretty much time to call it. So let's see. Let's raid Stein. They are working on art. I think that's just what we will call it for a night. And good night, everybody.